Hello and welcome back to Lavina Reality Show. Guys, today we are here. We've had 4 presidents since independence. Just to take you through the lane, we've had Jomo Kenyatta, we've had Daniel Arap Moi, we've had Moi Kibaki, all now late. And lastly, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, each and every one of them has something to be remembered with. What will you remember President Uhuru Kenyatta with? Let's get people's opinion on this.
My name is Emmanuel Edward Busera. I am Kenyan and I'm also very much involved in politics. I know President Uhuru Kenyatta very well as my president for the last 2 terms. And I think President Kenyatta is a man who has done his level best. It's always good to respect leaders. We know what happened in the second term. It was highly contested and he did not have peace to execute his mandate. So he needed to do some kind of a union with the opposition chief, Honorable Raila Odinga, so that the people who are supporting Raila Odinga, who are causing commotion and havoc on the streets, would get off the streets so that the country can move forward and people can continue doing business and go back to their normal life. So he's a man who was faced with a lot of difficulty in his second term, but he did what he could. Immediately after that, we stayed like a year or two. The whole world is now faced with the coronavirus pandemic. And there was necessity for lockdowns and businesses slowed down and the economy actually got a beating. So there are things that were out of his control and there are things that were within his control, but all forces were there, either from outside and inside. So in his second term, I can say it has been very turbulent and he has tried his level best because he just got out of coronavirus. Raila was on his neck during the Maandamano Mondays. And so I think it has not given him ample time to be able to do things in the way that was supposed to be done, both the post-election commotions and the coronavirus pandemic. But all in all, he has done his level best as a leader. What I can just tell him is he should just go honorably with respect. He should stop being dragged into politics and succession. And I think when he does that, he'll have more respect in his retirement.
What is this one thing you're going to remember President Uhuru Kenyatta with after elections?
First, I would say perhaps, it's a bit tricky. It's a chicken and hen quandary as to whether the cup is half full or half empty. Perhaps it's about how the economy plunged. That is how I can remember it so much. I mean, the economy plunged. Kenya's economy was on takeoff. Then it took a nosedive. So that is very memorable. You remember good things and bad things also. So I think it's the nosedive of the economy that I can really remember, and then failure to observe some of the things, like for instance, the 2/3 gender rule. We expected more women, but it's more or less like how it was many years before we promulgated the new constitution. So basically, I think much of what I have about him is the negatives, because I've not seen positives in my personal life for the past 10 years. I've not seen anything positive about it. I even forwent some things like marriage. How do you marry and there is nothing you'll feed your wife on? There is nothing. It's hunger and starvation. So I'll remember that. I managed not to marry since 2013 up to 2022. So we are expecting that perhaps a new team comes in and then gives you impetus to do some of these things. You have to construct people's lives. The basics of human life: shelter, clothing, food, and so on. So when a new team comes in, I think that is what they should give you as an impetus on what a new trajectory life should take. Otherwise, for him, I think basically it's just lost hopes, fallen promises. It's basically, I can say it was the lowest. It was the lowest period of my projections and so on, and I believe many others. I think they will not just want to talk about it, but if you ask them and they spoke honestly, they'll tell you that where Kibaki left this country, Kenya should have been in a different direction altogether, because Kibaki left this country on a firm trajectory of growth. Firm trajectory of growth. In fact, that is exactly what we were discussing here before you came to ask. Kibaki had left this country on a tremendous trajectory of growth. So we are here in parks. We are here in parks, and we shall also remember him for having kept us in parks. We shall remember him for having kept us in parks. Years.
So no, nothing good for you.
You can even look at the park where we are. I mean, it's not completed. I mean, they were constructing it, and it's not even it's not complete. So I think basically, what should I say? What should I say? Because many of the things that seem to be good are actually just a facade. I can say they are 50% or 60% facade, 40% a mirage. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that doesn't really add up to much. And I think it should be a learning process for those who will come afterwards. That when people trust you so much, when people entrust their hopes, dreams, and aspirations in you, do the right thing for the people, so that people can remember you. People can remember you, and the generations that will come will always have something good to say about you. But when other generations will come, I don't know what people will actually tell them of what we did in our last 10 years.
What I remember President Uhuru Kenyatta is that he has done a lot of development, starting with the infrastructure. Again, also uniting the opposition and the ruling government, especially for supporting Raila Odinga to be the next president. Actually, we remember Uhuru Kenyatta is somebody who really wants the country to be in peace. Especially now we are going to election, we see there is no tear gas around. The country is very peaceful. We always remember Kenyatta for making the country to be so peaceful. Yes.
So it's just unity and infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yeah, that's what mostly I remember Mr. Kenyatta with. Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
He's the first president to talk about leadership not being to one or two tribes alone. I recall him very well when he was in the funeral in Vihiga, in Mdavadi's place, where he mentioned that leadership should not be only for two tribes. I recall Uhuru because of his infrastructures. He has initiated so many of these level 2 hospitals, especially in these upper slum in the slums. Like where I come from in Kibra, he has got we have a level 2 hospital where he came and integrated it, and so many other places.
Okay, kuna vitu kadhaa zenye naweza kumbuka wa President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, na ile kitu muhimu kabisa kwa uongozi ni kupigana na ukabila. Rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta amejaribu sana kwa upande wa kuvunja hizi ngome za ukabila. Hiyo ndio kitu ya kwanza kabisa ambayo mimi nitamkumbuka Uhuru Kenyatta kama rais wangu. Number 2, kwa upande wa infrastructure, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta kama rais amechapa kazi na amejaribu sana. Sisi kama upande wa Garsen, kwa sababu mimi nimetoka Garsen, amejaribu sana kwa upande wa barabara. Kwa upande wa security, pia sisi kama watu wa Tana River tumesaidika sana, kwa sababu as I speak here, nyumbani kwetu najua usalama uko thabiti. Tuko na karibia all sectors of security pale Minijila, Tana Delta, Garsen. Na jambo nyingine kabisa ambayo imenifurahisha na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ni let me say endorse Raila Amolo Odinga to be our hopeful next president. Yes.
Hiyo ni jambo muhimu sana ambalo Rais Kenyatta amewahi kufanya, na hiyo pia itakaa kama legacy yake katika utendakazi wake. Yes.
Before he took the power, there was crisis, but now he's living, he has made this country so yani in a peaceful manner. We can either, by then we had a problem with the two tribes. These was Wajaluo and the Wakikuyu, but through his power he has made this handshake. He has made the Wakikuyu and the Wajaluo, they have now been in brotherhood, and that's the big impact that I can recall him. Yeah.
Ninaweza kumkumbuka na vile amejaribu kupatia watu title deed, ambaye ni kitu permanent, ambaye watu hawezi sahau. Kwa hivyo ninaweza kumkumbuka kwa hayo. Ya pili, ninaweza kumkumbuka kwa sababu ya hii flyover ambaye ametoka kutoka Mlolongo mpaka karibu Kangemi, na mengineo mengi ambaye amefanya. For example, kama bypass, ametekeleza mambo ya infrastructure, na mtu ambaye amejaribu kutafuta peace, kwa sababu wakati ambaye alifanya handshake, hiyo ilikuwa njia moja ya kusema, kuona kwamba hakuna haja ya kuwa wewe ni mkubwa na watu wengi wanakataa kuelewana kwa sababu ya utawala yako. Kwa hivyo kama ni mtu ambaye anaweza kueleweka kwa mambo ya peace, amejaribu kutengeneza hiyo kawa ni peace.
I'm Steve Odhiambo Uma. I'm just coming from Kitengela, which is in Kajiado County, but now I've just come here to refresh myself and to this place. Now, to my opinion on how our President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta has done, what I'll just remember him is just about how he has united the nation. As you can see now, we are in a peaceful country today. You know, when you can remember back there, people were just seeing us in tribalism, you see. But if you can see today, we are united. Kikuyu can negotiate with Aluo people, yeah? And that's the thing. We are talking about unity. Then another thing which I can remember him with is roads. He has done a lot into infrastructures. He has developed into interior places. You can see, you can access easily to many places, which behind there we were unable to access some places, you see. Let's say to my home place, I can see many tarmac roads, you see. He has done so much about it. That's the thing I can see. And even when we wish him a farewell, we just wish him well, but let him not go far. I can even say I'm proud of him actually. I just wish he just come near and give the incoming president, whoever will win, just to give an advice on how he or she may get about this country. That's my opinion about my president. I really love that man.
Thank you so much. Yes guys, thank you so much for watching. I'd say those were people's opinion today, and if you're new in this channel, kindly guys subscribe to Lavina Reality Show.